What's up, guys? My name is Chris Altair, and I'm the owner of MyDogTrainer.com and the creator of the eFlow dog training system. In this video, you're going to see me working with my 5-month-old puppy. This video is about 7.5 minutes long. It is uncut, unedited. If you want to see prior training that has taken place with this dog, feel free to browse my social media. You will see various videos going throughout the progression of his training and his life since we got him at 9 weeks old. In this video, what's different is we are typically having him pick up objects and bring them back to a platform. But you see, I just sent him to a platform, had him pick up the object and stay on the platform and hold the sit. This is very challenging. These behaviors that you're seeing right now are very advanced behaviors for especially this dog, the young dog, 5 months old. This is even advanced behaviors that I would consider to be for dogs that are several years old, meaning that I see a lot of trainers and whatnot, and they are still not to the point where they can have the dog do behaviors like this. So just to give you an idea of the level of communication between me and the dog. All right, so now what you're seeing is I'm having him get on the board, and I'm having him walk off the board backwards. Now this is a reverse command. You'll also notice that even though I'm dropping bumpers, everywhere I turn, the dog is always bringing everything towards me. So what I mean by that is as I walk around the box, the dog turns and faces me regardless of me throwing the toy down. So everything is through us. We teach the dog that everything is through us. So going outside the potties through you, getting on the boards through you. So the dog's investment starts to go through you all the time, just out of natural habit, from just learning that they have to have permission to do specific things. You're going to see me do things like that and then cause things to fall in turning. So me placing that bumper on the board underneath him. I know that when I go to turn him, likelihood is he's going to move and he's going to bump it. When he bumps it, it's going to roll, which is a draw for the dog. That's what we call a draw. It's a draw for the dog, which causes a distraction. And in that moment, I was able to do what we call a call off, which means after he went for something, I was able to call him off of it and bring him back. So again, you know, there's a lot going on in the video. There's actually so much going on in the video. I can't talk fast enough to describe and explain everything. So I'm just hitting points here. But again, super young dog, super happy dog, super aware dog. Let's just call it that. He is aware of everything that I'm asking him for. Here, you're going to see me call off again. And so we just started doing call offs. Call offs are not something that's very normal for him. He has to have a good understanding of going after things before we start actually implementing call-offs, because it would cause a lot of confusion to call a dog off something that you are trying to teach him to go after if he doesn't have a good understanding of going after it. So again, turning the dog on the board, this also helps in heel position. So getting the dog to learn how to turn and spin will help tighten up your heel as you're walking around. Now I've planted bumpers. I'm always sending him after the bumper that he is least favoring, or the bumper that he is most unaware of. So what that means is when I throw the bumper on the ground, he's focused on that one. That one's fresh in his head. But then I'll walk across the room, which draws his attention somewhere else, off the bumper I just sat down. And then I will place a bumper, so now his mind's on that one. Typically, I'll come back and I'll have him retrieve the bumper that I set down first, because now I'm having him pick up the bumper that he is least aware of. And all that does is amplify and clarify that he's paying attention to what I'm asking him to do versus what is fresh inside of his mind. Now we're still practicing returns. Like I said, what was new in this video is that we're sending him to the box to have him pick it up and sit and not return to me. But it doesn't mean we're not going to go back and have him pick up objects and still return them to me. That's the best thing about our system is we don't just focus on one thing at a time. We don't just teach one new thing at a time. We are constantly teaching. Like here, this is his first mark. So even though in the video I'm not telling him the command mark, mark will mean to look at specific item and stare at it until I release you. So take your attention off of me, put it back on the item, and then when I send you, that's the item I want you to get. So in that scenario, you just saw me turn him around and place him on the board and have him look at it. Now we're throwing in some heeling. I made a video last week talking about how this dog does not have a heel. And so you're seeing me introduce like tiny little segments of him walking beside me. And the placement, it appears that he has a heel because of the ability to have a conversation with him. So think of telling somebody to go stand somewhere. They wouldn't know why you're standing there. they wouldn't know why you sent them to stand there, but you at least have the ability to relay the information for them to go stand in that position. Well, that's kind of what I did with him. I am placing him in a specific position to my body as I move around the room, and he doesn't quite yet understand that that is a command to heel. In fact, I'm not even really telling him to heel. He just understands the language that I'm telling him that helps him stay in that specific spot. All right, so now we are practicing having him pick up objects behind him, and teaching what we call the behind command. So that way he gets used to, even if we're facing one direction in the room, if I say behind, he's to turn and do a 180 and run behind me to retrieve that item. We're now practicing pulling back in the heel position here again, and you'll see my hands are always guides. And no, everybody asked, did you use food to teach that? We don't really focus on a reward system, so we don't use food to teach our dogs how to do behaviors. We'll use food for proofing, meaning that the dog will want food, and so we'll use food as a distraction to proof the behavior. And the same thing, toys. People say, well, I see you use the bumpers all the time. The bumpers actually come across for me as like tasks. So the dog has to pick the bumper up, the dog has to hold the bumper, and yeah, don't get me wrong, we play with the bumper, but you're never going to see me have the dog sit and then tell the dog good job and then reward him with the bumper and exercise is over. So the whole entire process is always activities. Like right here, I tell him break means to come take things out of my hand. But you notice that the second I tell him to take it out of my hand, he's got to bring the object back to my hand. There's no play involved with him. And then once he gets back into heel position, I had him out the object. So that's what I mean. So you're going to see him grabbing what people would consider to be toys. But these are just devices or items that I need him to perform jobs with. But overall, and right here is a good thing too. So amplifying his fetch, toss it in the air, he jumps in the air, immediately grab and go back to a sit. So just amplifying everything. But yeah, overall, very young dog, 5 months old, super advanced behaviors, all made possible by our training system, eFlow, E-F-L-O. See you next video.